Assalamu alaikum, my beloved brothers and sisters. I want you to take a deep breath and truly listen to these words, not just with your ears, but with the very core of your soul. Sometimes life moves at a pace that leaves us breathless, and in the middle of that rush, your heart can become heavy with things you haven't even had the chance to name. If you are reading or hearing this right now, I want you to stop and realize that this is not a random event. There are no coincidences in the kingdom of Allah. This message has found its way to you at the exact second your spirit was beginning to flicker, at the very moment you felt like you might finally give up. It is a divine whisper sent to tell you that you are not forgotten, you are not unseen, and you are never ever alone. Allah has chosen this specific time to remind you that He is aware of every silent weight you carry, and He is already in the process of easing it. When we experience a broken heart, we often feel like we are being distanced from the world. But the truth is that Allah is drawing you closer to Him. There are moments in this journey when the exhaustion becomes a language of its own, a heaviness that no friend or family member can truly grasp. You might feel like the world is moving forward in a bright, loud parade while you are stuck in a dark, quiet corner of struggle. However, it is in these very moments of isolation that Allah looks upon you with the most intense mercy. The brokenhearted are never abandoned. They are the ones He pulls into the shade of His throne. He sees the tears that fall when no one is watching. He hears the questions you ask in the middle of the night when the house is silent. He understands the sigh that escapes your lips when you are trying to be strong for everyone else. Your heart may feel like it is shattering into 1,000 pieces, but you must trust that Allah is the master builder. He is not just putting the pieces back together, He is reshaping your heart into something more resilient, more compassionate, and more beautiful than it ever was before. Sometimes, He allows the things we lean on to break so that we learn to lean only on Him. He clears the space inside your soul by removing attachments that were secretly draining your spirit. He pulls you away from relationships and career paths that would have eventually led to your spiritual ruin. What you see as a painful collapse is actually the start of a divine rebuilding project. When Allah loves a servant, He doesn't just give them comfort, He gives them growth. He transforms your heart through trials that deepen your faith and prepare you for a future filled with blessings that you cannot even imagine right now. If your chest feels tight today, do not view it as a failure of your faith. View it as a sign that the divine potter is working on the clay of your soul. The pain you feel is not the end of your story. It is the climax of your preparation. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking that hardship is a sign of Allah's anger. We see a closed door and assume we are being punished. We see a delay and assume we are being ignored. But in reality, the opposite is true. Hardship is a form of divine attention. When Allah intends to raise a person to a high station, He puts them through a process of refinement. Just as gold must pass through the fire to be purified, the believer must pass through trials to be cleansed of ego and worldly attachments. What feels like chaos in your life is actually a very organized construction site. Allah is protecting you from paths that would have destroyed you and from people who would have stolen your peace. His no is a shield, and His not yet is a mercy. He sees the traps that are set for you in the future, and He closes the doors today to keep you safe tomorrow. The loneliness you feel during these trials is not meant to make you sad. It is meant to make you seek. It is building an inner sanctuary where only you and Allah exist. This connection is far more valuable than any human relationship because people can leave. But Allah is al-Baqi, the everlasting. The patience you are being forced to learn right now is the very tool you will need to handle the massive blessings that are coming your way. Nothing you face is a mistake. Every single hardship has a script written by the one who loves you more than your own mother. Sometimes he tests you to elevate you to a level of paradise that your good deeds alone could never reach. A heart that has never known struggle can never truly know the depth of gratitude. A soul that has never seen the dark can never truly celebrate the light. You are not being restricted, you are being redirected. You are not being held back, you are being sharpened for something extraordinary. The delay in your relief is not a sign of his absence, but a sign of his perfect timing. He is preparing the right doors to open at the right time, with the right people standing behind them. When the curtain finally rises on the next chapter of your life, you will look back at these days of crying and realize that every single tear was a drop of water for the garden that is now blooming in your life. You will realize that without the struggle, you would never have reached the destination he had written for you. This transition into a new state of being is not just about gaining things, it is about losing the things that were holding you back from your true potential. As we move forward, we must realize that loss is not always a negative thing. It is often a divine exchange. To understand how Allah replaces what we have lost with something infinitely better, we must look deeper into the nature of His mercy. This journey of the heart is just beginning, and the next step is understanding that what you thought was a loss was actually a hidden gain. As we continue to reflect on this journey of the soul, we must address the pain of losing what we once held dear. There comes a time in every person's life when they have to stand over the ruins of a dream, a relationship, or a version of themselves that they loved. You might look at the empty space in your life and wonder why Allah allowed it to happen. Why did He let that person leave? Why did He let that opportunity pass? Why did that season of peace have to end? It is human nature to grab onto what makes us feel secure. We want to stay in the familiar, even if the familiar is no longer growing us. But Allah is the most wise, and His removals are always precise. He never takes something from your hand unless He knows that holding onto it would eventually hurt your heart. Every disappointment you have faced was a calculated move by the divine to save you. He sees the future that is hidden from your eyes. He knows that if you had married that person, they might have led you away from your faith. He knows that if you had gotten that job, it might have consumed your soul and left you empty inside. He closes doors not to trap you, but to force you to turn around and see the open highway He has prepared for you. Loss is not a punishment. It is a purification of your intentions and your attachments. Allah is cleansing your heart from the idols of the world, the things we think we can't live without, so that we can find our true life in Him. When Allah empties your hands, it is only so that He can fill them with something much larger. Just as a child might cry when a small toy is taken away, not knowing they are being given something much greater, we cry over our small losses while Allah is preparing a massive gift. He removes the noise so you can hear His voice. He removes the crowd so you can feel His presence. He allows the disappointment so that you stop relying on what is temporary and start anchoring your soul in what is eternal. There is a deep, hidden wisdom in the way things fall apart. What was never meant for you will never stay, no matter how hard you fight for it. And what is meant for you will find its way to you, even if it has to travel across oceans and through walls. What you think slipped through your fingers actually landed in the hands of the one who created the heavens and the earth. There is no safer place for your future to be kept. One day, when you are sitting in the middle of a blessing that fits you perfectly, you will look back at your past losses and feel a deep sense of relief. You will say, Alhamdulillah that it didn't work out back then, because if it had, I wouldn't be where I am now. You are being guided toward a version of yourself that can only be born through the fires of change. You're being protected from paths that would have broken you in ways you might never have recovered from. You are being shaped into a person whose trust in Allah is so deep that nothing in this world can shake it. During this time of transition, your prayers are the most powerful tool you possess. Allah hears every single word you whisper, even the ones that are muffled by your pillow at 30 a.m. He hears the prayers you didn't even have the energy to say, the ones that were just a heavy feeling in your chest. Many people think their prayers are ignored because the answer doesn't look like what they expected. But Allah's answers come in many forms. Sometimes He gives you exactly what you asked for. Sometimes He gives you something better. And sometimes He gives you protection from something you didn't even know was coming. Delayed? Answer is not a deny answer. It is a sign that the timing is being perfected in the unseen world. Think about the seeds you plant in a garden. You water them and you wait. You don't see anything happening for a long time. It looks like the ground is empty. But beneath the surface, roots are growing, life is stirring, and the plant is preparing to break through the soil. Your prayers are exactly like those seeds. Just because you don't see the bloom today doesn't mean the growth isn't happening. Allah is moving people, shifting circumstances, and aligning the stars to answer your call in a way that will make your heart overflow with joy. The waiting period is not a sign of His silence. It is a period of divine orchestration. He is positioning you so that when the blessing arrives, you are strong enough to hold it and wise enough to appreciate it. The tears you have shed are not wasted. They are being counted by the one who created the oceans. Every moment of patience you show when you are hurting is being written down as an act of worship. This closeness that you are developing with Allah through your struggle is the greatest gift you could ever receive. In your days of ease, you might have forgotten Him, but in your days of difficulty, you have found Him. And finding Him is the ultimate answer to every prayer. As you learn to trust this process, you will begin to notice that you are never truly alone. The more you let go of your own plans, the more you see the beauty of His plan. This leads us to the final realization that Allah has been carrying you through every single second of your life, especially when you felt the most abandoned. The transition from struggle to breakthrough is often quiet, and it happens when we finally realize that our strength was never ours to begin with. As we move into this final stage of reflection, I want you to look back at the moments you rarely talk about. Think about the times when you felt so overwhelmed that even the simple act of breathing felt like a heavy chore. Those were the days when you felt truly invisible, as if the whole world had moved on and left you behind in a storm. You might have felt that no one saw your pain or understood the depth of your fear. But I am here to tell you that Allah was closer to you in those dark hours than He ever was during your most successful days. He was right there in the room when you couldn't sleep. He was there when your thoughts were spiraling into darkness. He was there when you felt like your heart was physically aching. Solitude in the life of a believer is never about being abandoned. It is about being selected. It is a time when Allah wants your heart all to Himself, away from the distractions and the false promises of the world. He was listening to the prayers you couldn't even form into sentences. He understood the why behind your tears before you even knew why you were crying. He saw you walking through crowds with a smile on your face, while your soul was desperately reaching out for comfort. He knew the courage it took for you to just get out of bed and face the day. People might have misjudged you or overlooked your struggle, but Allah never did. He is the Lord who sees what is hidden in the breasts of men. Every time you felt like you had reached your breaking point, it was Allah who softened the ground so your fall wouldn't destroy you. Every time you thought you were at the end of your rope, He gave you a hidden strength that allowed you to survive one more hour, one more day, one more week. You survived things that you once thought would be impossible to live through. That wasn't just your willpower, that was His divine support. He was carrying you when you thought you were walking alone. He was holding your hand when you thought you had no one to turn to. Look for His help in the small things. It was in the sudden calm that hit you after a long panic attack. It was in the kind word from a stranger that came at the exact right moment. It was in the verse of the Quran that seemed to speak directly to your situation. These are not coincidences. They are the barakah or blessings of a Lord who is intimately involved in every detail of your life. You are not weak for having struggled, and you are not a failure for having felt lost. In fact, those moments of total vulnerability are when your faith became the most sincere. When you have nothing left but Allah, you finally realize that Allah is all you ever needed. Your perseverance is recorded in a book that will never be lost. Every sigh of exhaustion, every moment you chose to be patient instead of angry, every time you said, Alhamdulillah, while your heart was breaking, all of it is honored by the King of Kings. He never once let your pain go for nothing. He is closer to you than your own jugular vein, and He is more aware of your needs than you are yourself. One day you will stand in a place of total peace and clarity. You will look back at these chapters of struggle, and you will realize that they were the most important years of your life. They were the years that made you who you are. They were the years that brought you to His door. You will look back and see that even when friends left, He stayed. Even when the money ran out, He provided. Even when the dream died, He gave you a better life. Your story is a beautiful narrative of divine companionship. You were never alone in the past. You are not alone right now. And you will never be alone in the future. The same God who took care of you in the darkness of the womb is the same God who will take care of you in the challenges of the world. Your breakthrough is not just a dream, it is a promise. Allah does not test a heart for longer than He intends to bless it. There is a magnificent plan unfolding for you right now. It is being shaped with care, written with wisdom, and designed with love. Soon, you will step into a new season where the sun finally breaks through the clouds. You will experience an ease that makes you forget the years of hardship. You will receive answers that make you realize why the wait was so long. The doors are being prepared, the people are being aligned, and the miracles are being sent. Hold on to your hope with both hands. Do not let the whispers of the shaitan tell you that it's too late, or that you've been forgotten. Your Lord is the one who brings the dead earth back to life, and He can bring your heart back to life too. Trust in His timing, believe in His mercy, and stay firm in your faith. Your story isn't over yet. In fact, the most beautiful chapters are just beginning to be written. You are being prepared for something so great that your current mind cannot even grasp it. So trust the process, trust the pain, and most importantly, trust the one who created you. Your relief is coming, and it will be more perfect than you ever imagined. Your next step toward peace. Reflect on one closed door from your past that you are now grateful for. Write it down or say a prayer of thanks for it today. By acknowledging how Allah protected you in the past, you will find the strength to trust Him with your present. In conclusion, my dear brothers and sisters, please carry this truth with you. Your struggle has never been a sign of your worthlessness, but a testament to your potential. Allah does not refine what is already broken beyond repair. He polishes the hearts He intends to use as vessels for His light. The heaviness you have felt was not meant to ground you in despair, but to anchor you in a level of faith that no worldly storm can ever shake. You have walked through the fire, and though you may feel singed, you have emerged with a soul that is purified, a heart that is humbled, and a spirit that finally understands the true meaning of reliance. Every closed door was a redirection toward a path that would not break your spirit. Every silent night of crying was a private meeting with your Creator that built an intimacy no ease could ever provide. You are now standing at the threshold of a new beginning, equipped with a strength that was forged in the darkest hours of your life. Do not look back at your scars with shame. Look at them as the marks of a survivor who was carried by the most merciful. The peace you are starting to feel is the first light of a dawn that is about to break over your life, bringing with it blessings that are perfectly timed and expertly designed just for you. The internal work you have done is the greatest victory you will ever achieve. Now, as you prepare to step into a season of ease, let your actions reflect the beauty of what you have learned. Reflect and release. Take 5 minutes today to sit in silence. Identify the one fear that has held you captive the longest and consciously hand it over to Allah, saying, Ya Allah, I leave this in your hands. Be the ease for others. Look around you for someone who is currently in the silent struggle phase. Offer them a word of sincere encouragement or a small act of kindness, becoming the answer to their prayer, just as this message was an answer to yours. Stay connected. Do not let the return of comfort make you forget the closeness you found in the cold. Keep your late-night conversations with Allah alive, even when you are no longer crying.